Hello friends, this is Tim Collins, come to you again with our weekend word. Today I want to talk about discipleship from Luke chapter 14, beginning at verse 25. It says, large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them he said. Now, stop here for a second. I just want to say, I get the impression that Jesus was wanting to thin the crowd out, get rid of the spectators who are just there for the fishes and loaves to see something spectacular, and find the participants, people who really wanted to be a disciple of Christ. So he turned to them and said, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, his wife and children, his brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And then he goes on in verse 28 through 32 to give the illustration of a man building a tower would count the cost to make sure he could complete it so he didn't become a laughingstock. Or a king contemplating going to war would see if he had the resources to win the battle or not before he actually launched it. And then he continues in verse 33, after he talks about counting the cost, obviously, of being a disciple. In verse 33 he says, in the same way, any of you who does not give up everything he has cannot be my disciple. Now that sounds kind of stern. Let me go back and just parse through this. I've got about 4 points here I'm going to hit real quick. The first one, in verse 26, Jesus says you have to hate your family. Now obviously he didn't mean in the same vernacular of modern day hate, but I want to show you a picture now of what he's talking about. And this is taken from the website of Dr. Michael Brown, askdrbrown.org. And this young man was a Muslim who converted to Christianity, and his father cut off both of his arms as punishment for converting to Christianity. Yet the young man still walked down into the river and was baptized into Jesus Christ. That's what Jesus was talking about, forsaking your family. If it comes to choosing between a relationship with him and a relationship with your family, choose Jesus. I've met some people who have to make that very difficult choice. Verse 27, then he says, anyone who does not carry his cross cannot be his disciple. Now, that carrying the cross was a simple statement, I'm a dead man. I am dead to this world. I am crucified to this world. This world is crucified to me. This world means nothing to me, and I mean nothing to this world. I don't care what the world thinks of me. I think nothing of this world. That's what it takes to be his disciple. And then in verse 28 through 32, as I said, he talks about building the tower or going to war. Be aware of the cost. He's not trying to talk people out of being a disciple. He is simply saying, if you're serious about it, this is what it's going to cost you. And if you're just here to see the sensational stuff, you might want to move along. Be aware of the cost so that you're not discouraged when the bill comes. And then in verse 33, he says the cost of discipleship is simply everything. Oh, I know people that balk at giving 10% of their income to the Lord. How about not only all of your income, but everything you own, everything you are, everything you ever hope to have or be, lay it on the altar and give it to Jesus? That's what he's saying in this verse. That's what it costs to be his disciple. If there is anything that you love more than closeness with the Lord, you cannot be his disciple. I didn't say that, Jesus did. So I challenge you, look at your life. What is it that you're holding on to at the risk of being everything God called you to be? Lay it in the altar today. Sacrifice it and allow the fire of God to consume it and turn you into an on-fire disciple of Jesus Christ. I hope you'll be in church somewhere tomorrow, worshiping God in spirit and in truth. God bless you. We love you.